Yeah, you can have this on ringing.
Yes.
Call the meeting to order. We'll have an approval of the agenda first.
There are no changes, Madam President.
Okay, all wants to make a motion.
I will move to approve.
Second.
We don't need to further than that. do
I don't think there's any further discussion.
we? No. Okay. All right, and so.
I think I need to call a roll.
Yeah, we just do.
Wait,
Commissioner,
Those in favor?
Commissioner
All
Hill,
those in favor is good.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 No money involved. It's all good.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay,
Consent agenda.
all right, well, thanks for those extra little mentions here. In fact, I didn't look at them. If I had, I would know exactly. But thank you. Okay, we're coming up to the consent agenda. One is the minutes. Secondly, the December bills. Third, the bids for Parks Department equipment. We'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Dave, poll the board.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Deutsch.
Aye.
Commissioner Rosted,
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Aye. Come then to the regular agenda. We'll recognize the audience, which is the opportunity to make public comments. I'll read the procedures for the public comments. At this time, the board will hear comments from the public. We ask that each speaker who has signed up to address the board come up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record. We would also like that speakers refrain from using this forum to criticize or complain about a specific employee by name. The board is interested in your comments and will listen carefully, but is not obligated to respond to or debate issues in this forum. Should you desire a written response to a specific question, you may request it. This evening, each speaker will be allotted a maximum of 3 minutes. As a point of order, if any speaker wishes to talk later in the agenda, comments are limited only to the agenda item at hand, and speakers must first be recognized by only the Fargo Park Board President before coming to the microphone. Otherwise, the speaker may be ruled out of order and additional measures may be taken up to or including removal from the meeting. The Fargo Park Board President, however, does not have to engage in dialogue with the additional speakers. We ask that you respect this request and act accordingly. Do we have is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Doesn't look like it. All right, then we will go on to the director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll start on our far left with Kevin Bowe, our Recreation Director.
Good evening, Commissioners. So want to let you know of a new hire. As of Monday, the 16th, Isabel Sinkler will be starting as our Aquatics and Recreation Supervisor. This is a little bit of a change from the previous job that was held as a Recreation Supervisor. We have talked internally about, succession planning for our aquatics department to make sure that we're still moving that forward. So Isabel will start on Monday, the 16th. She'll jump right in to start programming the youth activities as well as looking at master planning for aquatics facilities in the park district as a whole. Also to include programming for upcoming for Island Park pool once that does kick off. So we'll be looking at fee structures and programming for that whole entire complex. Also exciting is Randy Litchie, who's our recreation supervisor, received a grant from NDRPA to become the, I will get this correct, Certified Parks and Recreational Professional. So that sponsorship comes from the NDRPA, all expenses paid for the pre-test, and the actual taking of that test. She will receive that grant in the fall meeting, the conference. So she can't really start that whole process until she received that grant money for the NDRPA. But that's exciting that we're going to have another opportunity to have somebody that's certified in Parks Recreation for the Park District. So, thank you.
The new hire, what is her background?
So she spent 8 years with us, 2 as the manager of Island Park Pool. Previously, she was the assistant manager of Island Park Pool. She's also done some programming for us with the sports samplers under Dave Clunt as well. So she's got a lot of experience even with the Park District, but she was working in the RDO is where she's coming from. She just started the position over there this fall. So we're excited to have her on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Moving on to Carolyn Botain, our Community Relations Director.
Commissioners, I have reports on Rose Creek Clubhouse and on the Anchor Farm Master Plan. Rose Creek, the clubhouse, we did finalize the equipment purchase this past week. We also have the HVAC system that is being installed currently, and we are on the final phases of that. All the units are installed. It's working properly. It's just cleaning up some wiring and that kind of stuff with our contractor. Last week and this week, we've met with the proposed tenant. They've toured the facility again with Matt Cook, our head pro, and we are in the process of talking with them about the proposed remodel that they're looking at for the actual grill downstairs. What they're looking at there would be basically remodeling that whole space, taking it from ceiling to floor with new basically new countertops, new seating chairs, replacing the walls and that kind of stuff. Maybe changing out some equipment, but the hood would remain and some of that kind of stuff. So again, that hasn't had a facelift in the last few years that we've owned it. It's pretty much stayed as we had purchased it. And then the board members at the facilities committee meeting had discussed setting up a special board meeting for the approval of their lease before the end of this month because they'd like to get in there February 1st to start this remodel. They feel it will take them 60 days. And I just wanted to check in with the members that weren't at that meeting to make sure that we were okay with looking at a date once council and I get a little bit more of a formal document put together. And so I don't know if you want to address that now or if there's any concerns about having a special board meeting.
I think that makes, well, as I said at the facilities meeting, I think that makes perfect sense. It's simple enough to do, and we're just approving a lease, and it doesn't slow us down another month or so from them getting going, are my thoughts.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and we'll work on a date then. I don't have any proposed dates at this time. Any other questions about Rose Creek? Then for the Anchor Farm Master Plan, I met with on the phone with Bill Marhart today, and they are coming next week to have some design work with our staff, having meetings next week. And they are also meeting with Dakota Medical Foundation and our foundation to talk about possible funding sources for some of the things that we want to do in the future based on what we're looking at in the master plan. They are also open to meeting with the board members to get your input. And I have the possible dates on the 18th at a 4 or 5 o'clock timeframe, or Thursday the 19th between 9 and 11. If it's something that you would like to set up with them, you can let myself or Tara know, and we will get that scheduled or give you a direct contact to Bill so that you can set it up that way. And again, it's not a requirement, but I know in the past when we did the Island Park Master Plan, there was an opportunity also for you to weigh in on some of the discussion. So since they'll be in town, it's an opportunity that we don't want you to miss. They are working on setting up a meeting yet too with Dakota Audubon to do some additional discussions. Another meeting with the Botanical Garden Society. We are sending off information about what we've currently received from the public to the National Park Service. And then Tara and I are still trying to set up a meeting with the North Dakota Science Museum as requested by President Dawson, or sorry, Don, and would like to see if we can get that set up here in January. But again, we still have a need to get calendars and get that figured out. So. And then we're looking at a public meeting, potentially February 21st, that Tuesday. And that'll be at the Broadway station, again, starting around 6 o'clock, and more details to come on that.
What were the dates and times of the next week? Oh,
Um,
I'll get them from
Wednesday,
Vicky.
the 18th, 4 and 5, Thursday, the 19th, 9 to 11. But there can be others available too if you are unavailable at those times.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Public meeting was Thursday, February.
Nope, Tuesday, February 21st. Yeah, we just determined that today.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. And Paul Grinlin will be our next Director of Valley Senior Services. And being a pilot, he's flying solo tonight.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you, Dave, Commissioners. The transition continues from Brian to me, and I'm completely overwhelmed. Just thought I'd report that right away.
Wow, you're supposed to just, everything's great.
I'll make it. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm in the big office now and got that done. And so things that we're working on coming up next is Giving Hearts Day, February 9th, Thursday. And keying up for that, working with marketing, enjoying the process, pretty fast paced, but it's going to be good. We're looking forward to a good Giving Hearts Day. We've already accumulated over $17,000 in match for that day. So we're doing real well with that. Gearing up for the legislative session, supporting some nutrition funding that is in the governor's budget, an increase for us. So we're excited to do that, and we'll be contacting our legislators and people coming as we go along. But today I've done something a little bit different to get the attention off me. I've brought a couple of our new managers and I'd like to introduce them if I could. First of all, Cassie Emanuel. If you want to just stand up and say hi. Cassie is our new nutrition manager. Actually, she started last summer. Is that correct? April. And she's been with us overall about 6 years. She started out as a resource worker. So for about 5 years, she did that and was promoted to nutrition manager. She oversees 35 meal sites in our region, in our 6-county region. So she's got a very big job. But we're very happy to have her. And our newest manager is sitting next to her, Cindy Girdner. Cindy is our new transit manager, taking my place. And eventually.
She's in the small office. Is that right?
Yeah, right. She got the small. Cindy has also been with us a little over 6 years, and she formerly and will continue in part to be the Metro Senior Ride Operations Supervisor. So we're trying something a little bit different. Cindy and I will kind of co-manage the transit going forward for a while as we transition, but I'm just very happy to have those hires made and have them on staff, and looking forward to a great management team going forward.
Well, you're off to a great start.
Yes, thank you.
10 days in.
And we do still need volunteers.
For
Meals on Wheels, 701-293-1440. I have to say that.
perfect.
Well done, Paul. Dave Beats is our Deputy Director of Operations, will be next.
Thanks, Dave. Good evening, Commissioners. Just a little update from the operations side of the organization, all dealing with staffing. If you remember the last time we spoke about a position at Osgood for a first golf assistant, we're narrowing in on that. We did go through our process. We have an offer out currently. We're waiting for an answer back on that. So hopefully we'll secure that person and have that position filled. The Parks Director role, my old role, I actually moved to a smaller office. So I'm not sure what type of deal you got, Paul, but we'll talk a little later. The Parks Director role is out there now being advertised. That position will close on the 20th. So a little over a week and a half away from us right now. And then the Sports Complex Director, we're going to start advertising on Monday, the 16th. And our goal there is to advertise for 3 weeks. We're working closely with the HR team to develop a list of areas to do that. Susan's helping a lot too with her connections. And so we're very confident we have a good approach there, and we'll look for the best person in all of these positions. So any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Thank you, Dave. And let's be clear, it's a smaller office with a bigger window.
That is true.
All right, Susan will be next. It'll be our Deputy Director of Administration.
Thanks, Dave. Commissioners, so I am starting week 7 in my role. I can't believe it's been almost 2 months, but sometimes it feels like I've been here even longer. And I was put into the coldest office. So, but yeah, we had our first administration team meeting this week, or excuse me, we had it last week, and really just kind of talked about our meeting structure and what we wanted that to look like. We talked about kind of the roles that we're going to play with leadership in our individual departments, and then started talking about our goals for 2023. As you know, Dave sent out, I think the last week of December, kind of that updated organizational chart. And I just want to say that it really was a team effort. Everyone was pretty much involved in that process, providing input, making sure that everything was accurate and that we weren't missing any key positions or staffing, and that everything was aligned. But I do want to give just a lot of credit to Carolyn. She really spearheaded that effort, put in a lot of time in making sure that everything was lined up and was accurate for staff and for the board. Our HR team now has been really working on job descriptions and updating. So any changes that were made to any of our positions, you know, specifically with the administration division or the operations division, just making sure that all those job descriptions are now accurate. And then it just kind of had been a little bit more of a challenging week for our IT department in that we've had our network administrator position posted twice now. And we've had some good applicants. We've had 2 offers that have gone out. We've had 2 offers that were accepted, and then at the last minute, both withdrew. So we've been having some conversations about maybe next steps, and if we need to maybe reevaluate that position, maybe it's just not the right fit, or what that looks like. And we did decide today that we will be reposting the position. We feel like that's the position that we need to move forward in our IT department, and feel like the second time it was posted, we had a few more better candidates, and we think that we'll hopefully have even more the third time. Third time is a charm. So. And any questions?
I was just wondering if you had any sense of why their applications were withdrawn.
Yeah, we actually reached out to the last applicant just to get that feedback, you know, to find out if it was, you know, salary, what exactly was the reason that they withdrew. And they found another position that was better aligned with their professional goals. So again, just trying to find just that right person that fits in well with the Park District.
Yeah, and if I can jump in on that, this is Jerry. Working in higher ed, and particularly with IT-related jobs and the digitization of our society, the demand signal for people in this field is way surpassing the ability to fill the job. So it's just a very difficult market right now to try and get anybody hired because there's so many opportunities and so few people.
Yeah, Jerry, thanks for adding that. That's exactly what we've been hearing too. So like I said, hopefully that third time is the charm for us. And if for whatever reason, if we're unable to secure someone at that time, I think we'll have to reevaluate the position and what we want to do moving forward.
Thank you, Susan. Next up is Brock Leitz, our Finance Director.
Thanks, Dave. Madam President, Commissioners, the Finance Department is really busy at work trying to close out fiscal year 2022 and get the books closed and ready for the audit. We will start submitting information to our auditors probably by mid-February or so, and our on-site date has been scheduled for the last week of March. So we'll be in that audit process now predominantly for the next 2.5 months. And then once that wraps up and we have the presentation and do the work, we'll start the budget season. But right now it's really about closing 2022, getting ready for the audit, and our whole team is busy at work doing that. Other than that, it's kind of business as usual, but I'll answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
All right, thank you, Brock. And Craig mentioned that he does have an update from the foundation.
All right, can you hear me? All right. Good evening, Commissioners. Have a quick update on the foundation side. To finish up 2022, we did wrap up capital fundraising up to 10.1 million. So we did get over the $10 million mark, which we are excited about. We did hire for our administrative specialist position, and Becky Bjornson, who was previously working in the recreation department, did accept that position. She has a very strong background in her previous jobs before the Park District. I think they're really going to complement what we're doing. So I'm excited for her as a new hire. She will officially start on January 30th with the foundation. And then also to touch on Giving Hearts Day for this year. We're deep into planning for that. Remember last year we had a fantastic year. We had that great surprise of $1 million anonymous donor to the sports complex, which generated a total of $1.4 million last year. And we're excited to announce tonight that the Qualvog family is going to do $1 million match for us this year. So Ray and Kathy and their family have been big supporters of the Park District and our foundation for many years. Zach and Connor used our facilities and used our parks and were in our programs growing up. So they understand the impact that a Park District has in the community, and these new projects that we're working on, they couldn't be more excited about these addition to our Park District system. So we're grateful for their generosity. They're looking to inspire others to join us in this fundraising effort. So we will be hitting it hard here over the next 4 weeks as we get ready for Giving Hearts Day. So yeah, an exciting development. Definitely inspires us in our fundraising side and our foundation board as well. So any questions? All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Craig. And the two items I have, Commissioners, is just on Monday, we did have the Sioux Falls Park and Recreation Department did reach out to me and had asked about the possibility of them bringing a group up to Fargo and touring our facility, and then touring our facility or discuss our new sports complex facility. They're also looking at some other potential sites to visit, whether it's the Hulbert Aquatic Center, the Rustad Recreation Center, potentially going to Grand Forks to look at Choice Health and Fitness and the Icon ice facility up there. I think, while they do have the Pentagon down in Sioux Falls that is privately run through Sanford, they are currently looking at an indoor aquatic center. So they just want to come up and kind of Sioux Falls being our sister city, and we got a lot of big projects going on. I don't necessarily know if we would have an actual tour. That's something to be determined depending on the weather, if they'd like to see the construction site, or maybe it's just having lunch at the depot and meeting with their team and kind of discussing our layouts, our thought processes regarding Island Park Pool and the sports complex. So we can kind of share information, learn both ways, and I think it's a great opportunity. They did say their mayor was going to be coming along with them. He does have a presentation, I believe, in coordination with the city of Fargo. So that's one thing we'll kind of figure out the details of what that trip will entail. I don't know if they would have any of their, I'm guessing being a Parks and Recreation Department, they may have an advisory committee. I don't know if any of their commissioners would be attending or not. right now, it's very early in the process. They're looking the last weeks of January. So whether that's the week of the 23rd or that last half a week, we're still kind of working out those details. So I think that's pretty cool. It shows that, we're kind of one of those leaders along with, West Fargo and some other of the communities in their facilities. So I think it's pretty neat. And then just kind of an FYI with the legislative session kicking off here after the first of the year. NDRPA typically schedules a Parks Day at the Capitol, and that's to help promote parks and recreation. The state organizations, the local districts throughout the state gives us a chance for our staff to meet legislators, talk about some of the bills that are up and coming. A lot of them will be well through the process by then, but it's just a chance for us to get out and promote park districts and outdoor recreation. Parks Day at the Capitol is set up for February 15th and 16th. What we do on that first half day in the afternoon is we have an NDRPA board meeting. They'll have a session for a policy discussion and strategies, and then a social after that. And then Parks Day at the Capitol basically kicks off Thursday in the morning, and it goes from 7 a.m. To 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. There'll be more information to come. Our marketing communication team has been working with other marketing teams throughout the state, and I believe they're setting up, a couple sporting events around our exhibition booths, whether it's golf or some type of a floor hockey or putting, something things just to help promote parks and recreation at the Capitol. So it's a great event, and as I said, we'll as information comes out, we'll pass that along. So that's all I have at this time, and while we've had some long board meetings, I think it's nice to have a short one. We do have our foundation board members and Park District Commissioner Christmas party after this. So with that, I will open up for any questions anybody may have.
So the list of directors obviously is getting longer and longer. Is the intention that we're still going to work our way through the entire list at each board meeting, or you
We
guys
are
kind
in
of-
the process of kind of
Okay.
how that structure is going to look for the February board meeting. So
I'd be
more
happy
to
hear
more to
it.
come.
So
And we did talk to them, and
Take
we
your
didn't want to
turn
put
if
them
you'd
on the
like.
spot, but
So in other words, you're saying, Vicky, we have no items on the agenda, but we spent 28 minutes during director's report.
well, and we've only done this going through the directors for a couple of years now, I think, where you guys share what you find to be pertinent to your department. And I think it's great. I want to keep doing it on some level, but I also think if you don't feel obligated, like you don't have anything magical you think you have to say when there's so many of you, you don't necessarily have to take a turn maybe, and it evolves to something else perhaps.
All right.
so
Seeing
with that,
nothing,
Madam President, that's all I have.
seeing nothing else, I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.